So on the official Diablo page, the video Diablo Lore, Rathma's Eulogy, just dropped. It looks to be animated or semi-animated. We'll see in a second. And I decided, you know what? Let's watch it while reacting to it. Alright, let's go.
I do not engage in farewells. Most make too much of beginnings and endings, when each is one step on a journey that turns endings into beginnings. But we were all children once, seeing the world through our parents' eyes, walking the paths set before us.
Wow, it would not pause. Gotta say, I like the aesthetic so far. Looks like they use a lot of brushes to quickly make some... over-inked isn't the word I'm looking for, but heavily outlined illustrations. It's fun. It's always a fun style for me.
I have the memories of me from the past, tempered by the 1,000 versions of myself that bridge
Rathma.
into the present. I was once called Lenarian, the first amongst those born to Sanctuary, the hopes of refugees
Look how
from the
happy he
eternal
is.
conflict made flesh.
That's so rare in
my
Diablo.
youth, I was haunted by dreams of a world without
Oh,
bounds,
well, there you go.
shrouded in chaos. A descent into utter evil meant terrible destruction. A turn to the complete absence of evil meant stagnation and decay. I told my mother what I saw, perhaps hoping she would see what I did.
Best
I
mother.
sometimes wonder if my vision drove Lilith to respond with such madness and savagery. She sought to protect her children, but the violence she wrought could not discriminate between those she wished to save and the threats she chose to eradicate. I lost my closest friend and confidant to her actions. And more than that again. The consequences of choice ripple through time.
Fucking
As for my
Inarius.
father, I believe Denarius came to think of us as a disgrace, that we should have never existed, only agreeing to consider alternatives to our elimination due to the protests of others. I think he would have followed through with his original plans, had my mother not murdered the other refugees. He exiled Lilith to the void for her actions, but could not bring himself to harm us. So he took the World Stone, hidden on Sanctuary from the high heavens and the burning hells, and altered its resonance, so our powerful birthright diminished over time. Inarius disappeared, and our gift...
I know we're supposed to somewhat side with Inarius, or maybe we're not supposed to, I don't know. But I just never liked Inarius in the story. Yes, he can be considered a tragic figure, in a sense. Ripped from his home for daring to not want to be part of an eternal war. But he had such a good thing going on Sanctuary. And I know he didn't plot originally to destroy his children and the other Nephilim, but... And yes, Lilith did overreact, but... And I guess if we didn't have this conflict and things going wrong, we wouldn't have a story. But fuck, things were going good, and I just don't side with Inarius on it.
or curse were forgotten. But for one who is eternal, my father should have known that nothing remains static. I tried to dwell in the present, the call of the balance fading to whisper, and find equilibrium in other pursuits. I found peace in the cycle, in the simplicity of the world around me, in love and life. But that peace was shattered, the cycle abused. Seeking a new path, I came to know the great dragon Trag'Oul, fulcrum of the balance, born of creation, defined by the very existence of Sanctuary. He is more its guardian than any other can claim.
Sorry.
No longer defined by my parents, I mastered the art of necromancy while committing myself to Trag'Oul's teachings. Eventually, he gave me a new name, one better suited for the path I chose for myself. Rathma, meaning keeper of the balance. My function and my duty alongside Trag'Oul's for centuries to follow. Disquiet grew as I sensed the return of my mother and father. It seemed that...
You know, that gets me thinking earlier what he just said. We do get mentions of dragons in the Diablo lore, but we never actually see them. I mean, we see artwork, but we never actually see them in-game. I wonder if... And I'm not, an expert on Diablo lore. Only what's presented to me in the games and the 4 lore books that have come out, plus some of the art books. But... I never read the novels. I do know the overarching points they make and their importance to the storyline. But I don't know, are they all gone now? I know Tafamut was the first dragon that became the 7 evils. But he's talking about another dragon here. And we hear whispers of other dragons, but we just never see them in lore or in game. And I wonder if there are any dragons still existing in Sanctuary or the Burning Hells, or maybe even the Heavens. I don't know. They seem like a neutral force. I know the first one's supposed to be evil, but like now they feel like a neutral force separate from humanity. So I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to explore that. Play. Please play.
Burning
There you go.
Hells had been aware of Sanctuary for centuries, allowing it to survive in service of using humanity as a turning point in their never-ending war. The Temple of the Triune had been created by the Prime Evils in order to sow instability and bring humanity into the fold.
Still a cool symbol.
Inarius responded by founding the Cathedral of Light, which started a proxy battle that culminated in the Sin War. As the Prime Evils destabilized Sanctuary, Lilith secretly reawakened humankind's latent power as
Lilith.
a means to undermine the Triune and Cathedral of Light.
Which I agree with.
Inarius discovered her plan, foiled her efforts,
fucking...
and banished her to the...
That's where it really annoys me. Like, yes, at this point Inarius is becoming paranoid, but... And even if Lilith, her ultimate goal is to end the war and win and make herself the victor, she still wants Sanctuary to be a home for her children, separate from the war. And what's wrong with the war ending? Yeah, maybe evil rules then, or maybe she has separated herself from hell, or maybe she becomes the queen ruler of hell, the primeval, essentially. Whatever. But the war would end. And yes, I guess that would mean an absence of the heavens or corruption of the heavens, which isn't a great outcome, but is eternal conflict also a great way to go about it? Because the heavens, I don't think, are able to win. They're able to stalemate, and they're able to get victories. I don't think they would ever be able to win outright, because they won't do any means necessary, And maybe that's the point of having humanity who will take more of a stance and can push the war in the favor of the heavens, of the light. I don't know. I just find myself still agreeing with Lilith more. End the war. Let humanity be safe. But then, I guess, the heavens lose. There's no such thing as a simple war, I guess. Come on, play.
Void once again. He was too late. Humanity's power had begun to spread thanks to two brothers.
Yup.
Eldician Udiomed, elder son of Diomedes, wanted nothing more than the simple, worthy life of a farmer, and instead became a catalyst for upheaval. Mendeln, his younger brother, found an affinity for the balance and a desire for understanding. He became my student, learning about the balance as the Sin War raged on. The brothers' efforts against both the Triune and the Cathedral of Light gained them followers of their own. Eldician shared the power of our birthright, and they became known as the Adirum. This act alerted the high heavens to Sanctuary's existence, and set the stage for a frightful clash between angels and demons, with Sanctuary as the field of combat.
And that's part of the reason why... excuse me. That's part of the reason why I don't think the high heavens necessarily are, though they're on the side of light, necessarily mean they are good. Not to say the hells are good either, but they're self-absorbed in their own interests and not the good of all things.
Trag'Oul kept the armies of the high heavens at bay as long as he could, while I went to my father to plead for aid. Enraged and unhelpful, he banished me to the void with my mother, where I would have remained trapped were it not for Mendeln, who brought me back to Sanctuary. The battle was deadly and fraught, and would have been deadlier still had Eldician not brought about its end in an astonishing display of power. Reaching heights greater than I've ever seen, he willed both armies back from whence they came.
Fuck yeah.
In doing so, Eldician realized that his power was as great a threat to Sanctuary as the heavens and hells. So it was, he sacrificed himself in an eruption of raw energy that saw a return to the mundane for his followers. His choice was profound enough to affect those who came to stand in judgment of us. The Angiras Council, leaders of the high heavens, held a vote on whether to eradicate Lilith and Inarius' sanctuary, or to allow us to remain. Imperius voted for eradication.
Fucking Imperius.
Ariel and Ethereal to allow our potential to develop. Malthael abstained. We despaired an even vote would have meant our doom. Ethereal, the Archangel of Justice, who had come to Sanctuary of his own accord to witness Inarius' crimes for himself, was so moved by Eldician's choice, he voted to spare us. As the Council debated on how to prevent the burning hells from corrupting Sanctuary, they accepted a bargain from Mephisto himself.
Just to stop there, Mephisto has always been my favorite of the high powers in the Diablo universe. There's just something about a mastermind, planner, and his design was always really cool to me too. Kind of serpentine, so that's what caught my eye first, with the spine dangling underneath his torso. But the more as time went on, and when I heard about the events during the Sin War, what Mephisto did, I'm like, I kind of like him. He seems a cut above even his own brothers, Diablo and Baal. So I just always kind of liked Mephisto.
A truce, wherein both sides would withdraw from Sanctuary and allow it to grow, untouched. So long as humanity was no longer a threat, and Inarius punished for his crimes. To this end, humanity was left to its own devices, their powerful birthright once again diminished, and Inarius was dragged into the depths of the burning hells to suffer at the hands of Mephisto. Trag'Oul.
Not to say that Um, he's not evil, I don't think. No, I do believe he's evil, of course. He's one of the prime evils. Just as a character, I like him. Same reason why I prefer. Um, oh, wow. Lilith over Inarius. I just like the character better.
Protected Mendel's memory. A bittersweet gift, as those around him remembered nothing of Eldissian's sacrifice. Mendel shed his mortal name and accepted one from Tragul, Kalan, meaning teacher. But the truth of the balance must be passed on to future generations. Kalan would go on to pass our teachings to his own students, necromancers, who would become known as the priests of Rathma. It has been their duty and function to keep the balance as the millennia pass. My dreams have once again been haunted by shattered images. A vision of the end of Sanctuary that coalesced into prophecy. A prophecy I know Inarius is driven to interfere with, believing it about him, a savior, piercing hatred's heart in hell. Our choices always betray us. I locked the gates to hell, knowing it is only a matter of time before he discovers what I've done and comes demanding the key. One way or another, we hurtle towards the prophecy's end. Or perhaps its beginning.
Poor Rathma.
For what is death but a transformation? I saw my corpse, and from my mouth crawled hatred. A father burned his children on a pyre, and a mother molded a new age from the ashes. I saw the weak made strong, a pack of lambs feasting on wolves. Tears of blood rained on a desert jewel, and the way to hell was torn asunder. Then came a spear of light, piercing hatred's heart. And he who was bound in chains was set free.
Oh, that's cool. I forgot about... The word asunder is actually my favorite word. The first time I heard it and understood it, I've always loved that word. Asunder. Oh, sorry. Play. You can play now. You can play now. There we go. It's a cool prophecy. Well, that was the end of it. Alright. Well, that was pretty cool. I always love animations from Blizzard. Whether they be, full-blown 3D spectacles or these simpler 2D pieces. Alright. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Stop recording.